Alrighty, guys, what is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, March 26th, my friends. We got ourselves another update here for you regarding this upcoming severe weather. Hope everyone is doing good. Glad to have you guys for another update. So before we go ahead and get on into it, I just want to go ahead and say hello. Warm welcome to everybody. Let's see who we got here. We have Sydney, we have Paxton, we have Chris, we have Tom, we have Logan, we have Jamie, we have Scott, we have Jazz, Abby, Kara, Awakened, Mark, let's see here, Bash, we have MD, we have Roy, we have expected to kick off out there. But anyways, let's see here. MD says, hi, Andrew. Hope your day is going yours as well. What's up, AJ? Hope you're doing all right. But anyway, so yeah, here for Sunday, the areas in yellow is in the risk area here. This includes areas out by Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, portions of Oklahoma, areas out there by Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, let's see here, Georgia, as well as Mississippi here. We do have ourselves a, quite a large risk area here, actually, here for Sunday. So we're definitely going to need to be weather aware out here for Sunday. And now, like I said, this threat will actually go into Monday as well, which we'll go ahead and get into here. But first of all, let me go ahead and switch over real quickly to this. So you guys can see that, for Sunday's risk here, we have ourselves nearly 500,000 square miles in the risk area. That's a lot of land. That is a heck of a lot of land. So almost 500,000 square miles. And the population is almost 50 million in the risk here just for Sunday. So once again, this is Sunday's risk here overall. Let's see, Chris coming in with the 5 gifted memberships, dude. Chris, my man, thank you so much, dude, for the 5 gifted. Greatly appreciated. Congrats to the people who got the memberships. But, Chris, dude, thank you so much, man. Hats off goes to Chris, man. I appreciate that, dude. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Chris, big thank you. I really appreciate your support, my friend. Thank you so much. But yeah, so like I said, that's for Sunday's risk here. Now, working our way into Monday, we do have ourselves, quite a lot of areas here, also for Monday in the risk as well. And you can see a lot of the southeastern United States is in that risk here for Monday, including areas like, once again, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. You can actually see Florida, not just Panhandle, but literally like northern Florida will be in the risk here for Monday. Same thing for, Georgia on Monday, the Carolinas, north and south, eastern Tennessee, Virginia, a little bit of West Virginia, going up into Maryland, and even a little bit of Delaware is in that risk here for Monday there overall. So, I mean, you can see that, between both Sunday and Monday, there is a lot of areas here that is in that risk area, between Sunday and Monday. So we're going to definitely need to be weather aware here. For both days, of course. Now, for Monday here, so the area is a little bit smaller than it is on Sundays, but still, a lot of area is involved. We were talking about 312,000 square miles in the risk area here for Monday's threat, which that puts roughly right around 45.5 million people in the risk area here overall. So, just a bit of a heads up there. Once again, that's Monday's threat. So, with that being said, that's kind of where all of that severe weather is expected, to potentially occur. Remember, not all areas will see severe weather. It's just where the atmosphere is going to be capable of producing severe weather is in those regions. Now, the exact probability here, for tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds, as of now, there is no solid breakdown yet for that. We will learn that very soon. Obviously, as we do get closer to the event, the day before the event starts, that's when we're going to have the full-on breakdown between, tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. But what I can tell you now is if you are in the yellow, so once again, this is Monday's risk here. If you're in the yellow between Sunday, this is Sunday's risk here. So if you're in the yellow here for Sunday, if you're in the yellow here for Monday, this is, the risk area in which basically you have a 15% chance probability of seeing severe weather within a 25-mile radius of your location. So basically, imagine, a big radius around you, 25 miles around. There's a 15% chance that severe weather collectively could occur into that region there. So just want to go ahead and let you all know that. So yeah, you can see as of now we do have quite a few areas that that definitely is in that risk area overall. What's up, Jenna? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. How is Northern Indiana looking for now for South Bend? Can I take a sounding? We'll get to soundings here in a little bit whenever we do dive into models. But for Northern Indiana, you guys are just outside of the risk area here for now. There is going to be the possibility for severe weather, towards the southern and central side. Storm Prediction Center does believe that there, could obviously be some severe weather out here. But up north, you're just outside of that risk area. But remind me whenever we get into models and stuff, and I will look at that. Okay. We will be doing soundings here in a little bit. What's up, Darian? Hope you're doing good. Let's see, Renita coming in with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Renita. I appreciate it. Let's see here. So it's saying, hi, Andrew. Do I have to worry about both days, Sunday and Monday? So for Sunday, not necessarily. So obviously, I remember because you're an original around here. So you are not in the risk here for Sunday. However, Monday, going into Monday, yes, you are included in that 15% risk area. So the day that you need to be looking out there for is going to be on Monday. Monday is going to be the day that you need to keep an eye out there for it, okay? So, just wanted to let you know, you are in the risk area there for Monday, but yeah, for answering your question, no. Sunday, you're good. Just keep an eye out there for it on Monday. But thank you once again for the 5. I really appreciate that, my friend. It was very, very sweet of you. Thank you, Texas. I appreciate it. Yeah, I kind of put my hair together last minute. But I appreciate it. Let's see here. South Bend is fine. So South Bend, isn't that northern? Yeah, northern Indiana. Yeah, so South Bend's just outside of the risk area here for now. For Sunday's risk area, you're just outside of it. But like I mentioned, we do have central southern Indiana in the risk area. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for it. Polly says, is Granbury, Texas, and the risk here? So I believe that they did extend it westward because I don't believe Dallas was in the risk yesterday the time we looked. So I believe that they did extend this risk westward. However, for Granbury, Texas, we are just outside of the risk here. You can see that the 15% area, it's just to the east of you. We'll see what happens. Obviously there is still time for changes. The models could start, showing one thing, and we could start trending maybe further west. I do believe we've already trended west. We'll see what happens. But as of now, you're not in the risk area. But since these are still relatively early outlooks for this event, since we're still several days out, just know that things can still change because of how far we are out. But with that being said, you're just outside of it. I would keep an eye out there for it. Just keep an eye out there for it for the next couple of days. I wouldn't ignore the system, but as of now, you're not in that risk area here from that Storm Prediction Center here overall. So, and that's what we should go off of, and we're going to continue to push those updates for you guys out there, regarding what the Storm Prediction Center has and all that fun stuff. Anyways, let me go ahead and bring up the models. We're going to hop our way into models here. Before I forget, let's take a look at Northern Indiana. I remember somebody was wanting me to look at that real quickly, so let's go ahead and pull this up. So we're not quite in the realm of NAM yet. For those who don't know, NAM is kind of a mid-range model. So we have 3 different classified models. Well, we have short, mid, and long-range models. Long range is for looking far out, and that's kind of what we're looking at right now. We're looking at the long-range models. The mid-range models have a little bit better, higher resolution, in which, a little bit more better to look at because we do get closer to the event, so we can look a little bit more in depth. And then short-range models are like right leading up to the event, right at the event. So NAM is a mid-range model, and we really don't... Yeah, it's still a little early. Tomorrow night, we should definitely have the full... we should have, not the full duration of the storm, but, some of the storm being able to be shown with the NAM here some point tomorrow. So, as of now, we really can't look at NAM, but looking at the models, hopping over to GFS here, we work our way down in time right here for late Sunday, and you guys can see we really build in a lot of instability here. So this is the fuel in the atmosphere regarding, thunderstorm activity. This is just simply how much fuel we're potentially going to be having in the atmosphere. And you can see that there's, a pretty good amount of energy that builds into the country. Remember, not everywhere will see severe weather. Not everybody will see severe weather in general, but just remember that, there is going to be that, that possibility for a lot of areas here that could potentially see severe weather. But looking back over at the instability here, like I mentioned, we have a fair amount of instability. A lot of fuel really builds its way in towards the Midwest, towards the deep South here. We are talking a good, 1 to maybe 2,000 or more joules per kilogram throughout, mixed layer. That's a pretty good amount of instability. There's a pretty good amount of fuel that builds in for late Sunday. So we're going to go ahead and circle that once again, kind of where all that fuel is. Now, the next thing I want to look at is those dew points here. There's a lot of moisture advection, so there's a lot of moisture really, starting to shoot its way up here into the country. We have that northerly air advection, that area of low pressure is just kind of pulling up a lot of that warm air from the south, from the Gulf here, and we actually have a little bit of cooler air coming in on the backside as well. Just classic, low pressure setup here. But with that being said, we have all that instability we just talked about, but there's a lot of moisture involved too. Dew points are here in the 60s, shooting all the way up into the Ohio Valley, which, if you don't know, 60-degree dew points is good for storms. It's going to supply a pretty good amount of moisture for those storms on the lower levels of the atmosphere, ground level basically. So there is certainly going to be a pretty good amount of moisture available too. So that's basically another really important ingredient for severe weather activity. You obviously you have your instability, your fuel that we looked at before this. You have your moisture, then you have your wind shear, which we'll take a look at now. So that's going to be kind of one of the lacking concerns in this event, I believe. So we have a lot of moisture, we have a lot of instability. Our lower level winds here, you can see they're really not anything significant. So lower level winds are definitely very important when forecasting severe weather and tornadic activity. Those lower level winds are very, very important. And you can see we do have ourselves, some decently strong lower level winds across, portions of the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, about 45 knots to the northeast though. That wind direction is very important too. In the lower atmosphere, about 5,000 feet up or so, across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley, these winds are moving to the northeast at around 45 knots or so. It's roughly about 50, 55 miles an hour. So as we go up in altitude, right, so as we gain elevation, so that is 5,000 feet roughly. As we go up to right around 20,000 feet roughly, you notice that the winds, their direction is not really that much different. Maybe a slight turn more to the east, but the wind direction is not really changing too much. So for a really nasty tornado event, you would really need a lot of strong northerlies. So those lower level winds would have to be really, really strong to the north, coming from the south to the north. And not all cases, but in some cases. And as you go up, you really want those winds to change more to the northeast. But since in this case, the winds are not really changing too much as we gain altitude, that leads me to believe that tornadoes is not going to be as much of a concern. It's not the only thing that contributes to tornadic activity, but, given this event in general, like I explained this yesterday as well, tornadoes will be a possible concern, yes. I'm not saying they won't, but I am also saying that I don't think they're going to be the main problem. I think the main issue in this severe weather event is going to be the threat for damaging winds and large hail. Large hail, damaging winds are going to be the main causes, I believe, of severe weather in this, or the main threats for this event here. And then, like I said, tornadoes I think will be a concern too for some areas, but not going to be as much of a concern as I believe as hail and winds. The good news is that this does not really compare to previous events we've had. This is not really compared to really much that we've had this year. Like I mentioned, our wind shear is kind of lacking in this storm system here, a little bit. I mean, we do have decent lower level winds, for basically late Sunday, as you can see here. Pretty good amount of instability there. Looking at the moisture, pretty good moisture. But lower level winds about 40 knots northeasterly, and then you go up in altitude. They really don't change too much in direction. So let's go ahead and grab a sounding. Let's grab one out there by Louisville, Kentucky. Just, roughly going to look at that real quickly. Let's see here. I just got $1 Cash App donation from, I don't know how you say your name. ANSLI. I'm not too sure how you say that. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the $1. Sorry I can't say your name right, but saying hello from Kokomo, Indiana. Squirrel Bait. Okay. Well, thank you, Squirrel Bait. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, sorry I couldn't really say your name, but I appreciate it, Squirrel Bait. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate it. Let's see here. What's up, Janice? Hope you're doing good. Is there a cap in place? So some areas, yes, there will be. A bit of a cap, but given the fact that this cold front's going to be, a really strong lifting mechanism, prefrontals might have a bit of a hard time firing off, if things continue to show what they're showing now, in the models. Because if we take a look back at the mixed layer instability, I mean, you can see that there is, some cap in some areas, but that cold front is going to be so strong that it's really just going to kind of forcefully pull that warm air from the ground and shoot it up regardless. Yes, there will be a cap for some areas, of course, as we work our way through Sunday and Monday, but the source of lift being that cold front is going to be so strong that it's just going to likely cause a whole line of storms to develop regardless of cap. Because sometimes if you have such strong sources of lift, sometimes if you have such a strong source of lift, like a cold front in this case, even with, low, moderate cap, it could allow for, obviously things to, could definitely allow for storms to still fire off with little to no problem. Anyways, let's see here. Ansley. Oh, okay. I still, I swear, if I still said that wrong, I'm so sorry, Squirrel Bait. It's okay if I just call you Squirrel Bait, if I can remember. That's a lot easier for me to remember. Renita coming in with another 5. Thank you so much, Renita, saying, do I think I should go to a hotel? Sorry, I'm just nervous. So, like I mentioned, tornadoes isn't going to be as much of a concern for this event as it was for previous events this year. With that being said, though, let me grab a little sounding out here by you. So this is for later kind of afternoon on Monday. Let's just grab a sounding, kind of roughly in the Macon area, central Georgia. Let's just kind of see what's going on out here. So looking at our wind profile, it doesn't really scream anything big tornado-wise. What I can see in this sounding like this, I mean, first of all, you notice how this is from ground level, so don't ignore all this. Yeah, just ignore all this for now. Just focus on this box here. So this is ground level. So this is where, you and I are. We're on the ground here. At least I hope. But so we have that lower level there, and we go up in altitude. So this is 9 kilometers up. This is 12 kilometers up. This is 15 kilometers up, so you can see we're kind of going up in altitude with this chart. So the red here represents temperature. The green represents dew point. Now, the closer your red and your greens are together, the higher humidity. And you can see in this case, we do have some saturation going on. Anyways, regardless of this, with the threat, what I really want to show you here is that we do have these winds. So these are our wind barbs. So looking at the wind direction and wind speed with altitude. So in our lower atmosphere, towards ground level, the winds are moving eastward, kind of northeastward, and they kind of remain to do the same. As we go up through the atmosphere, the winds are basically moving in the same direction from lower levels of the atmosphere to upper levels. There's really not much spin going on. So given a sounding like this, tornadoes would not really be much of a concern. However, with that being said, given just taking a quick look at the sounding, the SARS sounding analog system here, there is some results here. It really does kind of look that hail could be a concern, and even damaging winds. I think that's probably going to be your main concern. So to be honest, Renita, that's up to you. That's up to you. I don't think it's fully necessary. Remember, things can still change, too, because we are still kind of in the early talks of everything going on here. But I just, that's that. Let's see here. Kai sent me $2 on Cash App. Thank you so much, Kai. I appreciate the support, my friend. You guys are awesome. Thank you all so much for your support. Big thank you. But yeah, Renita, honestly, I don't think that's quite necessary, to be quite fair with you. But still, let's keep an eye out there for it. Once again, models can still change and stuff like that. So we'll keep you informed. But thank you, Renita. I really appreciate that. Let's see here. What's up, James? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing all right, my friend. Let's see, I'm prepared for the weather event. Good, WWT. I'm glad to see that, my friend. It's good to prepare for it. There's no reason to really worry about this system. I get it. Potential for severe weather. It's a little nerve-wracking, but just know this is still, still several days out. We're still kind of watching the system. And like I said, the good news from what I believe here is, like I said, while tornadoes will be a concern, the good news is I don't think they're going to be the main problem. I think wind gusts, strong winds on those storms, not too sure quite yet how strong they potentially could be since we're still a little far out, but, potential for damaging wind gusts and large hail. I think that's going to be the main issue here. Tornado-wise, still possible, like I said, but not the leading concern. Not the leading concern. Anyways, let's see here. Am I covering the Oregon storms today? When should I expect storms to get going? So we're not really covering those today. We do have potential for large hail out there between Washington and Oregon, though, today. I'll quickly go over that real quickly with you, because we do have a slight risk today, across portions like Seattle, Washington, going through like Portland, Oregon. So for today, we do have they upgraded that. No way. They actually added a 5% out here. That's new. I literally just checked that not too long ago. Dang. Okay, well, we got a 5% chance for tornadoes today across Portland, Oregon. That's pretty rare. That goes through Seattle's in the 2% tornado risk area. Shoot. Let me grab let's take a look at the radar out by Portland. Just a little bit of showers going on. Wow. Okay. Well, they added a 5% chance out there for tornadoes. 5% chance for damaging wind gusts, and we still got that whopping 15% chance for significant hail, including Seattle, including Portland, Oregon. Potential for hail 2 inches in diameter or larger. Across this black netted area, this is where we do have that significant hail possibility. So, oh, buddy. You know what? Let me look at the models here real quickly. Let's pull this up real quick. Let's see here. Okay, it looks like, so this is HRRR. Okay, so it looks like we're going to really start getting storms developing here really from now, really just starting to kick off at any time here. You can see that we have a strong low off the western coast here. Wow, dude. Yeah, so that should be kicking off at any time here. Yeah, so definitely be weather aware out there if you're by like Portland, Oregon, and some of those regions there. So we'll definitely keep an eye out there for those. I'll see about doing coverage late. I don't know. We'll have to just see how things go. Let's see here. WWT says, I wish I had money to donate. Hey, you guys don't got to donate. I really appreciate the people who do, and for the people who have donated, thank you very much, as you guys do help keep us afloat, but none of you guys have to donate. Just y'all being here, being weatherware it's what we're here for, my friend. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. We got you guys. Let's see here. Could St. Louis see any severe weather this weekend? So St. Louis, yes, is in the risk area here for Sunday. So if we hop our way back over to Sunday's risk. Yeah, so St. Louis is in that 15% risk area. So keep an eye out there for Sunday, as we do have the potential for severe weather. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye out there for the St. Louis area, and a lot of Missouri in general. Should definitely be weather aware on Sunday. But, given that's still 5 days from now, there is still things that can change. I mean, you could be added into a stronger risk, or, you could be pulled away from probability. So we'll see. But right now, what we need to go off of is that, Storm Prediction Center does say that you are in the risk area, which, you are in the risk area here for Sunday. So definitely, remain weather aware out there. Let's see here. All right, let's go and hop our way back to the models here, y'all. We're gonna do a little bit more of a dive here. All right, so we're gonna way back over here to later Sunday. So, like we mentioned, we start to really build in a lot of instability here. Throughout the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley, the southeastern and the southern plains, southeastern U.S. and the southern plains here. Like I mentioned, the good news is that, from what we're seeing now with early signs, from these long-range models like GFS we're looking at right now, you really notice how we're seeing, a good, maybe 35, 40 knot lower level jet of northeasterlies, winds coming from the southwest going to the northeast here. And like I said, as you gain altitude, those winds are not really veering too much. So, for tornadoes, you really want those wind directions and wind speeds to increase with altitude. That can create that spin. Like I said, I'm not ruling out tornado potential, but once again, I don't think it's going to be the main concern overall. Let's see here. Overture says, I'm Kai. I sent $2. Could you do a sounding for Jonesboro, Arkansas? Once again, I appreciate the support, my friend. But yeah, I got you. Real quickly, let me look at this one. So yeah, pretty good amounts of instability. So you can actually see there's a little bit of veering here. In our lower, towards ground level, our winds are going to the northeast, and as we go up to about 1 kilometer, the wind direction changes more to the east. So that's that little veering that we have, and you can see a little bit of a curve there on the hodograph. Could support some tornadoes, could support maybe some isolated tornadoes, maybe weak tornadoes, brief. But in a sounding like this, the main concern would be like damaging wind gusts, for a sounding just like this. I think, gusty winds in those storms would be like the main concern overall. But oversteer, I got you, my friend. Let me go ahead and bring up your area real quickly so I can see where you're at. So you're up in northeastern Arkansas. So let's grab a sounding. This is for kind of the early evening here on Sunday. So remember, this is also one model. Take this with a grain of salt. Models will likely be changing as we continue to work our way throughout the next couple of days. But regarding the sounding here, good amounts of moisture in the lower atmosphere. 60-degree dew points, mid-60s. Good moisture supply to these storms here. There's a lot of instability, though. That instability cutoff, kind of ends right around 12 kilometers. So we could have some pretty high topped thunderstorms. They could be pretty tall thunderstorms here. Honestly, given the sounding, I know this says tornado here, in which, if we take a look at our helicity, given the wind shear profile and, everything, I do think some tornadoes could be a possible concern in a sounding like this. But, like we mentioned, I think the main issue for a sounding like this, I would have to say it could be a big concern for hail and wind. Once again, not ruling out any tornadoes. Remember that this is also one model run too, and things, will likely change by the time we get there. But yeah, I do think all hazards in a sounding like that would be a concern here overall. No way, dude. Oh my gosh, y'all. We got Proxy coming in with a Venmo donation by friend Proxy with $150. No way, dude. Proxy, thank you so much for the 150. You did not have to do that, my friend. Guys in chat, please give Proxy a big thank you for the support. Thank you so much, Proxy. Glad to see you online and hard at work. You are very appreciated. Thanks for all you do, Andrew. Proxy, seriously, thank you so much for that. Dude, Proxy, you're the best. You're the best, my friend. Thank you so much for your support. Y'all in chat, once again, please give Proxy a big thank you for the 150, dude. That's really, really generous. That's really sweet of you. Proxy, big thank you. So real quick, while Proxy, while you're here, as of now, I don't know if you knew, there is a little bit of severe weather possible to your southwest. We're still kind of watching the event here. Considering we are still a couple days out. As of now, Proxy, we're not in the risk area. But heads up to your family once again in Louisiana, because between Sunday and Monday, we are having this cold front roll through, which will be driving that severe weather potential through those areas. While there is no breakdown quite yet between tornadoes, large hail, and damaging winds, since this is still, a couple of days out, several days out, there is no full-on breakdown yet, but they are in the risk area here between Sunday and Monday. We think, like I said, what I think is the main concern is going to be gusty winds and maybe hail for a lot of you guys. I think the main concern is going to be hail and damaging winds. Some areas could see tornadic activity, but, the good news for Louisiana down here is the fact that the wind shear is actually much weaker than it would be for areas up towards the Midwest. I mean, you can see that lower level jet here, according to, GFS, really doesn't break anything over, 30 knots or whatever, which, if we did get tornadic activity, say if, the conditions were there, which, there's a little bit of veering going on out there, but honestly, not much of a tornado concern. If we did get tornadoes, it would be likely relatively weak and brief there overall. But anyways, so with that being said, just, keep your family in the loop. Let them know out there in Louisiana, because, there is going to be that shot for, a bit of severe weather. Likely just some gusty winds and some hail and whatnot. So anyways, let's see here. Paxton, thank you so much for the Category 1 club for almost 2 years. Wow. Thank you so much, Paxton. Saying, hi, Andrew. I'm worried about Ohio. Try not to worry about it. I get it's a little nerve-wracking. Ohio does have that risk for later Sunday that we're going to have to keep an eye out there for. So, Paxton, we'll keep an eye out there for it for you. Try not to worry, because remember, this is still a couple days out. There still could be some changes, in the forecast and whatnot between now and then. You are in that risk area. We need you to keep an eye out there for it, but, try not to worry about it. And like I mentioned, the good news is that I think the main concern is not going to be tornadoes. While I think there could be some tornadic activity in some of those areas, I don't think it's going to be anything as significant as we've seen for these previous events. At least from what the wind shear is kind of looking to play out, at least in the early guidance that we have here. It doesn't look to be anything super, super wild for that. But we'll keep an eye out there for it, and, we'll see what happens. Between now and then, there's a lot of changes that can be made, but just try not to worry about it, my friend. We'll get through this like we always have and like we always will. We'll get through this. Just stay weather aware, my friend, and we'll definitely help you out. All right, let's see here. Overseer says, thank you so much, buddy. By far, you're my favorite weather streamer. I appreciate that, my friend. Always giving good info. Thank you, buddy. No problem, Oversteer. No problem. Thank you once again for the support. I appreciate it, my friend. Let's see here. David says, can I please do a sounding for Central Arkansas? Yeah, I got you. Also, just a little bit of a disclaimer, guys. Remember, this is one model and one model run. So take this here with a grain of salt. Don't fully 100% go off of what this says, but because remember, we are still kind of in early guidance here. That's not Arkansas, that's Missouri. We can go down a little further here. All right, so like I mentioned, there's a pretty good cap. For the people who don't know what a cap is, basically it is a temperature inversion in the atmosphere that can prevent a thunderstorm from fully developing. So basically, with the thunderstorm that starts, you have warm air that rises up. and it reaches that layer and it just stops rising because it hits an environment that is let's see here. Let me see. I'm not the best at explaining things. It hits an environment that is warmer than the air above it, essentially. I'm not going to sit here and teach that right now because I'm not the best teacher. But basically, so what you want for a thunderstorm to kick off is you want the temperature of the air to get cooler as you go up. And a cap is a warmer layer. So instead of getting cooler, which you need it to continue to rise, it gets warmer. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not the best, but there will be a little bit of a cap in place for some of these regions here. But given that cold front, and since it's such a good source of lift, it should allow for those storms to just kind of shoot right through that. But given a sounding here, most of the wind shear is flowing in the same direction. Lower level winds, mid-level winds, and upper level winds. You can see they're all flowing to the east in this case. There's not much veering going on. Really not a lot of, that change in wind direction with altitude, which you would need for those big tornado events and whatnot. So a lot of the winds are flowing in the same direction here. One of the main concerns, actually both of the main concerns in this case, I think would be regarding this system. First of all, we have some indicators that some strong wind gusts, strong downbursts could be a concern. High decate values, that downwards energy. Especially given that we do have some pretty strong lower level winds as well, could allow for some strong, strong wind gusts, some severe wind gusts to be a concern. And also, we do have a relatively dry mid-layer atmosphere or mid-level atmosphere, and given that we do have a pretty good amount of instability out here towards the middle atmosphere as well, could contribute to maybe some hail formation and whatnot. I'm not going to really fully break that down right now, but hail could definitely be a concern as well. Damaging winds, hail. I think those are going to be the main concerns for this area here, at least for this time and this model. But remember, this is one model run. Things are still evolving. Let's see here. Prox says, thank you so much for the info. I'll let my Southern family know. No problem, Prox. Once again, thank you so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. My friend. Thank you so much. Definitely didn't have to do that. Very, very nice of you. MD says, can I do a sounding for, 45373? I got you. Let me go and pull this up real quickly. This is up in Ohio. Okay, so this is up here in western Ohio. Gotcha. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quickly. So this is the GFS model. Remember, this is just one run, one model. And we are still several days away from this event, so remember, things can definitely still change at this point. But as we approach our way into pretty much late Sunday, going into early Monday. Actually, I'm going to grab that a little bit further up to the northeast here. There's not as much instability here. Or fuel for those storms, but there still definitely could be enough to allow for some storm activity to occur. So we do have some decent wind shear, given the environment here. Obviously, we do have, still a decent amount of strong winds, throughout lower and upper mid atmosphere, which will contribute to good storm organization and stuff like that to occur. Dew points still in the upper 50s, lower 60s, so still a good amount of moisture, within the region here. But like we mentioned, the instability is not as much. There's not as much fuel for these storms here. So given that, yes, there definitely could be some storm activity and whatnot. And obviously this does, suggest weak tornadic activity being possible, just simply because we do have, a little bit of that veering going on, in the fact that we do have some, decent helicity values, could support maybe some low-end tornadic activity, could be a concern. So, tornadoes would be a possible concern in this sounding, but, also like damaging winds would also be kind of a concern there as well, I believe. So. Remember, though, like I said, that is just one model. That is just one model run. And remember, this is still kind of early guidance here. Okay? All right, let's see here. Russell wants me to look at Texas real quickly. Let's see what we got going on out there. I do know they extended that risk westward a bit, from what I remember. So, yes, this area out there, Russell, you are in the risk for severe weather here for Sunday. So, for Sunday, keep an eye out there for the weather. A little bit of severe weather will certainly be a concern out here, so we'll keep you updated. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on it here for Sunday, as severe weather will be quite possible. Can I do a sounding for Hot Springs? Let's see here. Let me do Hot Springs, Arkansas. You guys are up in kind of central, kind of west central Arkansas. Let's see here. So the further south you go, the more that the instability kind of, increases, but the lower the winds, the lower the wind shear, or the wind shear decreases the further south you go, but the instability kind of increases. So it's you got to kind of find that Goldilocks zone between the most instability and the highest wind shear. That's kind of where the greatest risk area would be. But anyway, so let's grab a sounding out here by you. Remember, once again, one model run, still early guidance here. So grabbing a sounding from GFS, there's a bit of a capping inversion here, as you can see. So like I was explaining a little bit earlier, there's a bit of a warm layer in the atmosphere. So what you want for severe weather and thunderstorm activity is the temperature as you go up in altitude to get cooler as you go up. So basically, you have this warm air parcel. So starting at the surface, you get this. A lot of that warm air starts to rise up into the cooler environment, and as that warm air interacts with the cooler air above, it condenses. Warmer air can hold more water vapor than cooler air. So we get a lot of condensing going on as that column of air, that warm air column, rises up, and so that's the birth of your thunderstorm. But in the case of this, there's a bit of a problem. So instead of the temperatures, completely just dropping as we go, up in altitude, the temperatures actually warm up a little bit in the lower atmosphere. You can see how the temperatures actually slightly warm up a bit as we go up and throughout some of those lower levels, which could be a problem for storms trying to develop. But given the fact that we're going to have such a strong cold front pushing through, that honestly could just force that warm air regardless to just shoot up into the atmosphere. Because of the strong source of lift, a cold front's like a wedge essentially, kind of forcing all of that warm air from the ground up into the atmosphere. So that could just punch right through it. We'll have to see, though. We can't be super specific right now because of the fact we're still in long range guidance. But going back on a sounding like that, though, I probably shouldn't have removed it, but we'll go ahead and grab it again. We'll have to see how that goes, but given in the environment like this, hail would definitely be a big concern. Definitely could be a big problem. Pretty good amounts of instability here with a decently dry mid-level atmosphere could contribute to some hail development and whatnot. Also, our downdraft or decape values here, 700 or so. Given the fact that we do have some pretty strong lower level winds, could support some gusty winds and stuff like that inside those storms. With everything like that, but, given the fact that our winds here are relatively moving in the same direction, as we climb in altitude, there's not much veering going on. You can see our hodograph is relatively straight. Not a lot of veering going on. So tornado threat, I wouldn't think would be super crazy, but, an isolated weak tornado would not be ruled out. But like I said, tornadoes I don't think would be the main concern here. I think that hail and gusty winds would be kind of the main concern overall. Anyways, let's see here. Matthew, I got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look here. Up in Alabama. So your threat's not going to be for Sunday. So this is Sunday's risk we have in the yellow here. So this is for Sunday. As we work our way into Monday would be your risk down here, towards the deep south. Now, the good news, hopping back over to the models here, we'll grab a sounding out there as well. As that cold front rolls through, actually here for late Sunday going into early Monday, there is fuel for thunderstorm activity, but the wind shear is pretty weak, which might not allow for organization to really occur. We could get some storms out there for actually late Sunday. Believe it or not, there could be some storms out here. Given the fact that there's no cap, there is an open atmosphere for full of fuel essentially. Storm activity could develop, but it wouldn't likely turn into anything super crazy overall. Our upper level winds are pretty strong, but that's not going to really do much whenever your thunderstorm is under that level. Not to mention, our lower mid-level winds are only at maximum like 30 knots in mid-levels, which that's pretty weak. That's pretty weak winds. So storms would likely be short-lived and not really that severe, just given that. But there is a good amount of instability and whatnot. We might get a little bit of hail in a sounding like this, especially considering we have a pretty dry mid-level here. Hail could be a concern. That's for Sunday. We'll see what happens, though. But the main concern will be here pretty much for Monday, later Monday, as we once again have an open atmosphere full of instability and fuel for those storms there. But at this point in time, the winds will be maybe a little bit stronger, could allow for more stronger storm potentially. You can see not much better, but we're talking maybe 30, 40 knots mid-levels, which is better. But the good news is that tornadoes and stuff I don't think would really be much of a problem, because the wind shear is not really setting us up for it. Winds are mostly flowing in the same direction for the most part. I mean, really not a lot of veering going on. Helicity values are fairly low as well. Honestly, just giving an environment here, possibly maybe some hail, some gusty winds, but once again, tornadoes not going to be the main concern here, I don't think. So remember, though, it's also early guidance here as well. All right, ATR, I got you, my friend. Let's take a look at your zip code here. By the way, guys, if you are new to the channel, consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated, y'all. If you guys could help share this as well, guys, it'll be much appreciated because, the more people we can reach out, the more people we could potentially help here. So if you guys could, consider sharing this channel to your Facebook, your Twitter, just help spread the awareness, guys. It'll help us out a ton. It'll help everybody out a ton if you guys could. So once again, I appreciate y'all. If you haven't already, just consider it. And if y'all could, leave a like as well. It'd be much appreciated. Anyway, so for this area here for Monday, we do have that risk area out there, ATR, for western South Carolina. So, like I said, Sunday's not going to be your concern. Your concern is going to be on Monday. So if we actually hop to the mid-Atlantic here, and let's go and grab a little sounding. The atmosphere seems pretty capped out there. And plus, like I said, we're kind of pushing it in range here. Let's see here. So we start to build in some instability right around Sunday, late Sunday. Cold front kind of pushes through here for kind of mid-evening Monday. Let's grab kind of like a early morning sounding here just to kind of see what the atmosphere is going to be. But you do have that 15% chance. Yeah, there's a bit of a cap. I was kind of expecting that. Not much instability, to be honest with you. At least from what GFS is suggesting here, there's not a lot of fuel in the atmosphere. If we can break through that cap there, yeah, there definitely could be some thunderstorm activity developing here. But to be quite fair, not really anything super, super wild. Let's grab a sounding here for kind of the evening on Sunday. Because, like I said, we do build in some instability then. Let's see, though. Let's keep it close out there for this. Okay, so you can see we do have this is a little bit better of an environment here. If we can have an initiator, if storms can actually develop, there's different ways that storms can develop here. A frontal system like a cold front, which is going to be the main source of these storms here that roll through. You can have surface convergence. The winds kind of pushing together at ground level can allow for storm updrafts to occur and get storms developing. If there is a source of lift in this environment here, there could be some storms developing. For Sunday, but we'll have to see. But yeah, so we'll keep it out there for your area there for sure. But right now, just know you are in that 15% region here from Storm Prediction Center, and as we learn and as we gain more information, we'll let you know. David says, "Thank you, Andrew, for keeping safe with updates on the weather." No problem, my friend. Do I think the instability could uptrend towards southern Wisconsin area? I know it hasn't been. I'm just wondering. It's kind of hard to tell, to be quite honest with you. You set up by Wisconsin. So as of now, there's really not a lot of instability that builds into those regions. If we take a look at the most unstable, yeah, there's really like no instability building in, at least for the time of this event. There could be some instability building in for later Friday, maybe. But it seems relatively capped out, though. Honestly, it's hard to tell. we'll see what happens with the models, and as we start to get more information from them, we'll see if they do extend that to the north. But there's really no way of telling right now. As of now, I don't see a concern for Wisconsin, though. I ain't gonna lie. All right. Let's see here. Thanks, Andrew. I appreciate your knowledge, and thanks. Oh, you're very welcome, my friend. Thank you as well. Let's see here. Ash wants me to take a look at Springfield, Missouri. I got you, my friend. So Springfield is in the risk not for Monday, but for Sunday. Let's see if we actually hop our way over here. So, yeah, Springfield's in that 15% risk for severe weather here on Sunday. So we'll definitely need to keep an eye out there for that region here. So taking a look at that instability here, the fuel for these storms here. So for Sunday, we'll go ahead and grab a little sounding out there kind of towards Springfield. Kind of in the morning of Sunday, actually, is when we're grabbing this sounding here. Okay, so one of the main things here is that, yeah, we do have a pretty decent capping inversion, warm layer in the lower atmosphere that could really prevent storms from firing off. But as we go throughout the day, if we can break that cap, that could really allow for some severe weather activity to occur. Given the other ingredients, though, like lower level winds about 40 knots to the northeast here. So you can see the wind direction, going to the northeast here. If we take a look at our mid-level winds, they're flowing in the same direction, here to the northeast here, essentially. So there isn't much veering. So if we did get storm activity to roll through, which obviously we're in the risk area, so we need to be, keeping an eye out there for it. I don't see tornadoes being a big issue. At least, which is good news. Yeah, there's really not a lot of tornadic activity concern, I would say. I mean, if we did get tornadic activity, it would likely remain weak, relatively brief. If we can break through that cap here, hail and damaging winds would be the main issue. Mostly damaging winds, I'd say. Could be the leading concern there. So, but remember, you are in that 15% risk area here. And once again, this is just one model. This is just one model run. This is early guidance, so remember that. But we'll definitely keep you in the loop. All right, let's see here. Silent wants me to take a look at a zip code here. I got you, my friend. Let's go and take a look at your zip code. So you are up here in Louisiana. So we do have ourselves that 15% risk area here for severe weather on Sunday. So Sunday is going to be your day regarding severe weather. Now the good news, like we mentioned earlier, is that our wind shear, so our winds throughout the atmosphere, is a lot weaker the further south we go, which would allow for storms to likely be maybe a little bit less organized, less potent, essentially. While we still do have a lot of instability down there. But if we take a look back at the models here, and we'll use GFS for an example. Once again, remember, this is one model run, so take this with a grain of salt, okay? So a sounding here, let's just grab like central Louisiana for an example, out here. This is for kind of the afternoon, evening. Okay, so we could definitely break through that cap there. There's a lot of instability here. There's a lot of fuel, and storm tops. Look at that. Our equilibrium level is actually quite high. That's like upwards of like 13, 14 kilometers tall. That's potential for really tall thunderstorms. Really, really tall top thunderstorms. The only problem, or one of the main problems here, as you can see, at least in our lower atmosphere, our winds are very weak. So tornadic activity would likely be little to none in an environment like this. But to be quite honest with you, given a sounding like this, though, one really big concern would be hail. Even looking at the soundings or the sounding analog system here for hail, there is some matches here. Upwards of 2.75 to 3 inches. So given that atmospheric, these atmospheric conditions, if they were to be present for this time, hail definitely would be a concern. Same thing for damaging winds. Tornadoes, probably not that much. Anyways, let's see here. Railfan wants me to look at Lawrenceville, Georgia. Alrighty. Let's see here. Okay, so your threat is going to be from going into Sunday, going into Monday. So Monday's your risk area here. So here for Monday is when we're expecting maybe some severe weather activity to occur. So as we approach our way into kind of the afternoon here of Monday, let's grab a sounding out by western Georgia here. See what's going on. Given the environment out here, lower level winds are fairly weak. They do increase a bit as we go towards the middle atmosphere. So that's that. Let's see here. But, we do have a fair amount of instability, throughout the atmosphere. Potential for some decently tall thunderstorms out there. Good moisture, upper 60-degree dew points. You're definitely going to notice it being quite muggy around the time when some storms could occur. It'll definitely be quite muggy. Hail could be a bit of a concern in this type of a sounding here. Hail and maybe some gusty winds. An isolated tornado couldn't be ruled out, but we'll definitely pay more attention to that the closer we do get to the event here. All right, let's see here. What about Pitkin, Louisiana? Is that the area we already went over? I think silent. I think we already went over your area here. Let me double check though. Yeah, I think we already went over here. Let me try your other zip code just to make sure. This might be a little further west, if I remember. Oh, no, that's the same area. Okay, yeah, so we already went over your area, man. All right, let's see here. ATR says, thanks, Andrew. No problem. No problem. Ash says, thank you. You're very welcome. No problem, y'all. But anyways, my friends, well, if you guys have any final questions before I roll off with this little update for y'all, feel free to throw it down in the chat. Like I said, we're here to help you. We're here to make sure you guys are staying weather aware and, of course, weather prepared. That's what we're here for. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated with the event here. As we learn more information about this storm system, we'll keep you updated with everything. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated. And, if you guys could leave a like as well on this live stream, it'll be much appreciated. And really, one of the most important things you guys can do to help us and help everybody out is, help share this information. Help share this channel. Send this channel to a friend, a family member. Tell them to subscribe as well, so that they can stay weather aware. The more we can get this information out, the more people we can help. So if you guys could help share this, it would be greatly appreciated. It'll help out a lot of people if you guys could. So once again, thank you all. I appreciate you guys for being here. Once again, big thank you goes to our supporters there. Once again, Proxy, thank you so much for the Venmo donation, my friend. That is just really, really nice of you. I really appreciate it. Also, Kai and let's see here, Squirrel Bait as well. Thank you so much, guys. And Renita, of course. Thank you guys very, very much for the support here. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quickly. Also, a big thank you does go to Chris as well, and Paxton as well. So thank you guys very, very much. I appreciate your support. Let's see, how as bad is it going to be for 37066? Okay, we'll do this real quickly, and then we're gonna roll off for now. Okay. All right, my friend. So you are in the risk here for, let's see, this is going to be for Sunday. So Sunday you have that 15% risk area here. So if we hop our way back over to the models here, I'm looking at the GFS. So remember, this is one model run, so take this with a grain of salt. So as we approach our way into, pretty much late Sunday here, okay, so there is a bit of veering going on, as you can kind of tell. We do have those winds in the lower atmosphere moving to the northeast, and as we go up in altitude, they do change directions more to the east. So, given that, we do have some decent helicity here. Tornadoes could be a concern, in an environment like this. Yes. On top of that, also some hail too could be a concern. Hail and some gusty winds. I mean, all hazards. It's kind of an all hazard threat here. Tornadoes, damaging winds and hail could certainly be a concern for those areas. But remember, you're in a 15% chance for severe weather probability as of now. This is still fairly early guidance, so there's definitely some changes that will, likely be made between now and the time we approach this event. So just keep that in mind. And that really applies to everybody. We're still early guidance here. We're still long range right now. Tomorrow night we should have a little bit of NAM starting to come through, at least for Sunday's risk, not for Monday. So we'll be having from every stream that we do, we'll have a little bit more information of this event here. So tomorrow we'll definitely have a lot more info for you guys. Let's see. James says, thank you, Andrew. No problem, James. You're very welcome. But, alrighty, everybody. Well, thank you all so much for joining. I really appreciate y'all. Once again, on your way out, if you guys could, leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. It'll be greatly, greatly appreciated. And once again, if you guys could copy the link to this, the stream, this channel, and send it to your friends, your family, or anybody you really can, just to help spread the awareness, because the more people we can share this to, the more people we can help. So if you guys could help us with that, it would be much appreciated. But alrighty, everybody. Well, stream's going to head off here in approximately 1 minute, so go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. Once again, to all of my supporters, thank you all so much for your support tonight. You guys are awesome. I appreciate every single one of you. And, of course, everybody for tuning in. Thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate y'all. But, alrighty, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for tonight. Thank you all so much for joining. And we'll catch you guys later tomorrow with another update. Alright, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all later on.